Well, November is rapidly approaching, and that means all eyes are on the presidential election. Today, we'll look at 538's election forecast, and specifically look at their electoral map to see where the race currently stands. So let's dive right in. Now, right on the front page here, you can see it's obvious what their prediction looks like. Harris wins 56 times out of 100. Trump wins 44 times out of 100. Here's the reality. A headline, a top line like that, has nuance. So let's dive deeper to see what these numbers really mean. Okay, here we see their simulations. They've done 1,000 simulations with their computer model, and they've charted them all out. Now here's something interesting to note. The most likely simulation, the simulation result that has occurred the most, is actually a Trump victory. 283 electoral votes to 255 electoral votes. But you have to look at the big picture here. Do you see how Harris has this long tail of results? Trump's tail cuts off very rapidly. There are actually more simulations on the side of Harris victory, which is the number we saw at the very top. And that's why you see 538, in this case, forecasting a Harris victory. But here's the thing. There's more to it than just that graph, and one piece is polling. Now, when we look at recent polls, we see Harris leading across the board. But it's very important to note that these are national polls. It is very common, even likely in some cases, that the Democrat candidate can win the popular vote, and the Republican candidate can win the electoral vote. This is what we saw in 2016. Hillary Clinton got more votes nationwide, but Trump still became president. So let's dive even deeper. Now, when we dive deeper, we see how the forecast has changed over time. Now, right when they launched the forecast, this was soon after Biden dropping out of the race, Trump was actually in the lead. Their forecast had Trump at 276 electoral votes to Harris at 262. Now we saw that Harris surge, and right in this time frame, early August, we saw Harris take the lead. And Harris has maintained that lead, but here's a crucial thing to note. That lead peaked here on August 26. August 26, August 28th, that late August time frame. But you look at that polling today, Harris is down to 282. So right now we're actually seeing the presidential race tighten. This race is narrowing. Now let's look at popular vote. Like I mentioned earlier, it's very possible for the Democrat to win the popular vote. And we see that here. This whole time Harris has been in the lead. Even while at the same time, Trump at some points in time has been likely to win the election, popular vote doesn't decide presidents. Similar story here with win probability. Harris peaked late August, and now the race is tightening. Okay, let's dive into what you came here to see. Everybody loves the electoral map. And there are a few things I want to point out on this map. First, look at this. Wisconsin is no longer with that hashed pattern. Wisconsin is now in the lean D category. Harris, 61 out of 100 to Trump, 39 out of 100. That's right there is a bad sign for Trump. Another bad sign for Trump is North Carolina. North Carolina, which was in a lean R category when Biden was running, is now in a toss-up category. Trump, 55 to Harris, 45. Now, these are the gains that we've seen Harris make. But what I want to show you is that even though Harris is in a stronger position than Biden, this is still a tight and tightening race. Look at this, Pennsylvania. We've established that Pennsylvania is an absolutely critical state to win. Both candidates desperately need it. And right now, the Harris chance is 53 out of 100 to Trump at 47. Now that is an incredibly tight race. Let's head down to Georgia. Even closer. Trump 51 to Harris 49. This is an incredibly tight race, even though the Democrats are ever so slightly leading. Okay, Let's look a little deeper at polling in these swing states. Notice Arizona is even. Arizona, another one of those Sun Belt states along with Georgia that are absolutely essential. Both candidates need these states, especially Donald Trump. You see, if Harris can hold the blue wall, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, then she's almost undefeatable. She's pretty much won the election if she can hold the blue wall. If Trump loses one of these Sun Belt states, it puts him in an awful position on the electoral map. So this is incredibly close here in Arizona, even. Georgia, Trump leading slightly. Nevada to the Democrats. Notice the Sun Belt states. You see Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, all close, but the blue wall states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, are all leaning towards Harris. That's why it's so important that Trump holds the Sun Belt. Okay, finally, another section here. I like this snake chart. It's interesting. And it really shows you what states are so important. It's these central few states. Notice, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, the blue wall. The blue wall is the Harris route to 270. These three states are what get her over the line. Notice what Donald Trump has to have. Trump has to have Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona, and Nevada. The Sun Belt is key to Trump. The blue wall is key to Harris. Okay, I find this graph here to be fascinating. Okay, on the y-axis, the vertical axis, we have the electoral vote. And on the x-axis, the horizontal axis, we have the popular vote. You can see 2016 lands in this quadrant where Trump wins the election, but Harris would win the popular vote. But look at where most of these predictions land. Right now, most predictions, including Biden in 2020, but all the predictions, many of them are up in this category where Harris wins both the electoral vote and the popular vote. Right now, Harris is leading, but it's still a tight race. There's still many outcomes here that have a Trump victory. So that right there is an in-depth look at 538 and their forecast. The big takeaway, this is a close race. It's a tightening race, and we'll be watching it here on the Jonathan Lovegrove YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.